Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video. Today guys, I will be giving you guys my album review for All the Dogs by Drake, his new album that dropped early this morning, and giving you guys all the stuff about the album that I know, but let's get right into the video. So, I think this was a letdown because I really thought that Drake was going to be way more rap. I think this is going to be more of a rap-centric album, man. I did think that Drake would accomplish some more stuff. For example, some more menacing flows like he did on Meltdown. More of that. Also, most of this track, this was R&B. However, we did get a couple of solid rap songs, or we have an amazing rap song with 8am in Charlotte and a great banger with First Person Shooter. I do think that this is a great track list. I do think that it's a good track list. It's a good track list. It's nothing crazy. I do think that you do have some very solid R&B tracks. For example, Bahamas Promises. This was a pretty solid track. When you go to Members Only, it's fantastic. Also, go to a song like Daylight. That was a solid song as well. You got songs like Fears of Heights. You got so much. You do have a lot of quality throughout this track list, and I do think that it's not the greatest album, but I do love this album. I like this album. I do think that it is a 7. I don't think it's better than Utopia. I do think that.
Doesn't matter, shit.
Sorry, I do think that Utopia is a better listen. I do think the production is more out of left field. I do think that Travis puts you in a better mood. But, yeah, guys, that's what I think. I do think that Drake was, he said that this was going to be such an old Drake type of album, and we didn't get that because old Drake, this production that we got from this album did not sound like old Drake. This was different production style. This was him reinventing himself, and I do give him props for that. But, however, I think it was kind of a missing execution because it didn't go out. It didn't go out amazingly as he probably thought it would. And also, he had to delay it a couple of more hours because it was going to drop at 12 a.m. But then he made it go to 6 a.m. And I do think that this was not fully of a polished album. Or I just don't think that everything hits. For example, going on a song like Calling You with 21 Savage. When Drake does that high pitch, it does not sound polished. It does not sound clean. I do think that he was kind of rushing on this album because not everything sounds and not everything is curated properly. I do think that J. Cole has easily the best feature on the track list with First Person Shooter. I do think that J. Cole is giving you these great flows. I do think he's giving us these great bars, talking about he's kind of rapping about how the big three in the hip hop genre today, and he's kind of rapping about. He has a bar about the fall off. It's pretty ironic, He talks about all these. He's spitting bars, and I do give props to J. Cole for that, just because he kind of elevated that album to a certain degree where he kind of made that album better. For example, voice crack. I do think that Drake gave us a solid verse on First Person Shooter as well. I just do think that there were just so much better Drake songs from his older stuff, and I don't think this hits as hard. I do think that this is one of not his. I don't know if it's 100% the weakest. I do think it's better than Odyssey Out of Mind. There are some really solid tracks on this album, but the problem is I don't think that Drake kind of played with our expectations, and I do think Drake excels with those R&B performances, but having it for 23 tracks or at least 20 tracks is not what I want to see. Like, I know Views, that was a long track list and that was a classic album, but I don't think it should be that long. I do think it should be about 17 to 18 songs maximum. Minimum, I would even say like 15 or 14. I don't think that Drake should take those like 25 song track lists and put that into his work, because I don't think he strives at the super long track list. I do think he strives where at the 14 to 16 range, where he's not really forcing himself to do stuff, but he's sort of taking his time. He's giving us these great verses. For example, go to an album like Take Care. You got great songs like Over My Dead Body or Headlines, where he's giving you these great performances. He's actually thinking the verse through. He's actually just giving us all great performances all around. Nothing. I do think that Slime You Out was much better than most of the R&B tracks on this album. I do think that Drake, when he went high pitch on Slime Me Out, that was fire. But we do have 8 AM in Charlotte, the best track on the album, probably one of the best songs of the year to be exact. This is prime old Drake. Prime old Drake is Drake rapping over these samples, and he's giving you these great rapping performances, and that's what he did on this album. Well, not on the whole album. On AM in Charlotte. This is a classic timestamp in Drake's catalog, and I do think that Drake, I do think he tried to put his effort in, but overall, I don't think it clicked on all cylinders. I do think that, like I said, great tracks. We have 8 AM in Charlotte on here. We have Bahamas Promises on here. We have Drew Picasso on here. We have a great interlude with Screw the World interlude. We have a great, R&B track like Daylight or Fears of Heights or some other tracks. I do think that 7969 Santa was it was a weird name to make a song, but I do think it was kind of a boring track. I don't think that there's an absolutely bad track off the album. I do think that there are some mediocre 2 mid songs off the track list, but I don't think that there's anything that's really bad, because I don't think that he did anything that was just stinky, horrible. I don't think that it was anything to that. I just think that he could have gave us so much better performances. Even about New Drake, he gave us a great album with Her Loss with 21 Savage. He gave us a, solid album with, More Life. He did give us so many great rapping performances, like he did on some of his highlights, like Her Loss. Like I said, Her Loss is a great album. 21 Savage, Drake is actually, this is fleshed out verses. This is great performances on the all around. This is clicking on 4 cylinders or all the cylinders, but on For All the Dogs, I don't think that he's giving you everything that you want out of Drake. I do want half of the songs to be rap, like about 5 to 6 songs R&B. I do think that there is some really solid R&B tracks. Tried Our Best. What Would Pluto Do is catchy. The OK is fire. I do think that there is some really great tracks, like I said. But I don't think that this is the best Drake album. I don't think that this is some of his best efforts. I don't think that this is a top 5 album to me. I don't think that it hits an album like If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, where Drake is obviously giving you these great vibes, these great verses, these great flows, these great performances, these great singing performances on a song like Jungle or on a song like Energy, when he's giving you the energy. I don't think that Drake's energy was 100% on this album, because you're getting some boring songs. For example, 7969 Santa. That is not a hype track by any means. Also, let's talk about some of the features. I do think that J. Cole had the best feature on the album. I do think that SZA had a solid. She always has a good feature with her heartfelt vocals. I do think that SZA is one of the best people to have on a track, because she can always add in those sprinkles of salt into your track list, because if you go to an album like Utopia on Telekinesis, she gave you a great singing performance. Or also go to a song like Slime You Out, gave you a great singing performance. You know, she's always giving you these great vocals. She's always trying to sprinkling that salt and pepper into your track list. And that's what I like about SZA. She's one of the best women artists to have on a track list today. She's the one, she's in her prime right now. She's giving you these great features that are honestly so memorable. Her vocals are so clean, they're so crisp, they're so perfect, they're so beautiful, they're so heartfelt, they're so meaningful, they're so significant to a track list. And SZA just does her thing, like always on the Slime You Out, or on a Telekinesis, or wherever she's on. She gives you a great verse, or a great singing performance, or it's just amazing how SZA makes her vocals sound so clear and so clean and so transparent and so great. Sorry. But another feature, let's talk about 21 on Kongfi. I do think that he had a solid verse, and also 21 is probably a top 3 feature artist because 21 always gives you these great flows, always gives you these great verses, these memorable verses. For example, let's talk about any song. Like, go to a song like Umbrella by Metro Boomin. 21's giving you these great flows all throughout. Or go to a song like Till Further Notice. 21 is giving you these great flows all around. Like, 21 is one of the best features to have on an album. And the thing is, he's on most of rappers' albums because everybody needs him on a track list. Everybody needs him to kind of sprinkle in that salt and pepper like a SZA would do, like J. Cole would do. And SZA is one of those. Speaking of J. Cole is also someone that you should want on a track list because he always gives you these, he kind of sprinkles in the other ingredients to make, he kind of sprinkles in the sugar for the album. He kind of adds that great verse. He kind of adds this great, meaningful, memorable flow, amazing lyrics all throughout, amazing spitting from J. Cole. And that's what he always does right now, because when you look on a song like The Secret Recipe, he's doing amazing on there. It's just amazing. But that's it, guys. Peace.